Welcome to the second video on what is a supply chain. In this video, we are going to learn about flows in a supply chain. There are essentially three kinds of flows that happen in a supply chain. First one is about the product, second is about funds, and third one is about the information. When we use the word product, it also includes raw materials, parts, sub-assemblies, returns by the customers, replacement asked by the customers, and the packaging and packing material which moves along with the material. The flow of product, it can happen in both ways. Raw material largely will move in this direction. It will get transformed into the product, and from manufacturer it will go to the retailer, and from retailer it will go to the customer. Same thing happens with the parts. Instead of buying the steel, you may also parts. The product manufacturer will buying the parts, and these parts, if these are processed, they will move to the retailer and to the customer in the same direction. Now let us look at returns and replacements. If the product has been replaced or asked for return by the customer, it will move in the opposite direction. So customer will ask for replacement with the retailer, and retailer may return the product to the manufacturer. So in this case, the product will move in the opposite direction. So when we use the term product, it includes also returns and replacements which may flow in the opposite direction. Now let us look at the funds. The funds will originate from the customer, and they move in the direction towards the left hand side. The customer gives the money to the retailer. Retailer keeps a part of that as its profit and its cost, and it pays to the product manufacturer for the products that it has purchased, and product manufacturer keeps a part of it as its cost and profit and pays for the components that it buys. So funds will move in the opposite direction. This is also called sales revenue. Apart from that, there could be refunds. So if there is a replacement or returns, so there could be a refund, and refund are going to move in the opposite direction. So if the customer returns the product, the retailer is going to make the refund. So flow of funds will happen in the direction from left hand side to the right hand side. If the retailer or the wholesaler is an agent of the manufacturer, in that case, the funds may move from the customer directly to the manufacturer, and the manufacturer will give the funds to the retailer as part of commission. So flows in that case also, in case of commission also, it will happen towards the right hand side. So these are primarily two flows that happen in a supply chain. Another flow that happens in a supply chain relates to information. Customers, retailers, manufacturers, component manufacturers, steel plants, mines, they all create information. They have got information about the orders. Orders are placed by the customer to the retailers. This is information. And from retailer to the manufacturer, this is also information. From product manufacturer to the component manufacturer, from component manufacturer to the steel plant, from steel plant to the mines, all these entities, they place order to the previous entity. So this information flows in the opposite direction. And a production schedule. The production schedule that is there with the product manufacturer, it may share its production schedule with the retailer. And if it shares the production schedule with the retailer, then the retailer can give a definite date by which it will be able to deliver the product to the customer if it is not readily available with the retailer. Similarly, component manufacturers may also share their production schedule with the product manufacturer. So product manufacturer, based on the schedule of the component manufacturer, may schedule its own production. So flow of information may happen in the direction which is from right hand side to left hand side, and similarly it may also move in the right hand side. Inventory status. Mines may have inventory, steel plants may have inventory, component manufacturer may have inventory, manufacturers may have inventory, and retailers may have inventory. And with the technology that is available today, it is possible for these entities to share their information, which can happen instantaneously. So information flow, not necessarily it may happen sequentially, which generally product and funds will happen, but they can also happen in a complex way, which we'll see later. When we look at the characteristics of information, we'll find that information need not flow sequentially, which product and funds generally flow. So orders, production schedule, inventory status, capacity of production resources, this can also be shared by the entities with other entities to improve the performance of the supply chain. Now let us look at the supply chain. Now, till now we have been looking at supply chain only something like this, that there is a supplier, manufacturer, distributor, retailer, and customer. In fact, supply chains are like webs. They are like networks. A supplier will be a supplier not only to one manufacturer, but also it could be a supplier to many other manufacturers. So suppose there is a supplier of tires, which is a manufacturer of tires. It will supply its tires to Maruti, and it will also to Ford. Ford and Maruti, they are competitors, and this tire manufacturer may also supply to Honda scooters. Now, scooters and Ford cars, these are not competitors. Maruti and Ford, they are competitors. So you will find that supply chain flows that happen, they happen in a more complex way as compared to what we had seen in the previous slide. So flows may happen in a crisscross ways, and it may also happen, goods may also move directly to the customer. It may move directly to the retailer. So if we look at tire manufacturers, okay, so they supply to Maruti and they also supply to the retailers. So you can buy tires either with the car which comes with the manufacturer, or you can buy from the retailers. And these days you can also buy on the web, and the company may sell directly to the customer also. So same thing happens with TVs. So either you can buy from the retailer buys from distributor buy from manufacturer, but manufacturer himself may also sell directly to the customer. With the websites, it can sell directly to the customers, and retailers may also buy directly from the customers. So the point we want to raise here is, when we look at these flows, it looks like that supply chain is not the appropriate term. The appropriate term for a supply chain should have been supply network or a supply web. But supply chain is a standard term now, and we will continue to use it. So let us see that how does a real supply chain look like. We'll see a real supply chain will look like this kind of network rather than a simple network like this. So here we have got a global supply chain network of an apparel. So we find that there are different kind of materials which are used to manufacture apparels or the garments. So we have two types of raw materials. One is natural fibers, which could be cotton, wool or silk. Another could be synthetic fibers, which are man-made. It will come from oil and natural gas like polyester. From these raw materials, it is first converted into yarn, which is thread, and from yarn it is converted into cloth, and something similar happens. It goes to the petrochemicals. From there, synthetic fibers are created, and from this cloth, which is either done through weaving or knitting, and this fabric, it goes to the apparel manufacturers, which will convert the cloth or the fabric into the garments. And these garments may be produced in different countries, like in North America, in Asia. And then these manufacturers will sell and export through various agencies. It could be trading agencies, it could be overseas buying offices of the company, or it could be sold directly to the apparel companies. And these apparel companies, they will brand it and sell to departmental stores, specialty stores, mass merchandise, to discount stores, and to factory outlets. Similarly, other entities may also do that. So now you will recognize that a supply chain is not that simple, straightforward, but it is more complex, as it is shown by this particular network. So you will find that outputs are going not to one, but it is going to more than one. And inputs, they are coming not from one, but they are coming from more than one. When we look at this particular diagram, each entity had one output and one input. But when we look at real supply chains, you will have an entity may have several inputs and several outputs. So the importance of flow, it cannot be underestimated for a supply chain. Thank you.